know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
I don't think you guys walk away from this.
You just make sure people know what happened.
The child rape ritual exposed. Early Christian priests altered perceptions of sexuality in Roman culture by employing child rape as a means of reinforcing indoctrination. Ancient child abuse within the church was not the product of a few rogue pedophile priests. It was a deliberative, purposeful act meant to change Roman perspectives on sexual intercourse and religion. The Christian hierarchy used the sexual assault of minors as a means of transforming a society steeped in the veneration of female sexual allure and feminine spiritual and political authority. The Christian war on classical values redefined morality and enabled priests to use extremely brutal mechanisms for changing the way people thought about sex. All levels of the Christian hierarchy, including priests, exorcists, and even bishops, advocated and defended the use of ritual sodomy. It appears that the ritual was most prominent in the catechetical school of Alexandria, and likely finds its origins there. It is also likely the gospel writer Mark actually founded the catechetical school in Alexandria. Many church leaders, including Clement, Origen, and Jerome, were involved in its rigorous method of training new converts. Based on the writings of the early church fathers, including prominent bishops, priests, intellectuals, and even monks, it is possible to reconstruct much of the child sodomy ritual. Authors connected with catechetical schools yield a wealth of evidence that reveals ritual abuse to be a consistent, brutal, and highly effective means of indoctrination. According to our ancient sources, if you were a Christian priest living in the earliest era of the church, you knew what had to be done. Nothing was more merciful in the long run. Remove the masses of unfortunate orphan children from the streets a few at a time and prepare them for salvation. Start
Let me unmute myself. I'm sorry about that. Peace, peace, and blessings. We got a show here for you. We already have someone. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. So let me introduce myself. Let me get my camera right because setting everything up, trying to make everything right. So my name is Henry, and I'm with my co-host Shen Akuma. Today we bringing you part 2 of who, what, and why the Christos. We gonna dig more deep into the Bible. It's a 3-part set. We gonna go into the ancient teachings. What's really going on in the Bible? What's really going on in the initiation of what people call Christianity today? So let me introduce my co-host and further ado, let him introduce himself. Shen Akuma, come on through.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's having a good evening, and I just can't wait till we get right back up into this material because it's very interesting and it's very eye-opening and very informational, especially with the way that the current climate of reality is in a paradigm.
Facts. So further ado, like I want to get everything out to everybody. I don't want to waste nobody's time. I just want to let me share this, share screen, test show. Right. Okay, here you go. Can you see this, Shin?
Yes, you can. It's very clear.
Okay, can you read it to everybody?
All right, that says Aranos, which is heavens, theogony, which is the origin of gods, and Gaia, the earth.
So didn't want that. So let me get back to where I need to be. There you go. Okay, here you go. It merged into the next. So we gotta understand that the ancient Greek was more into nature. A lot of their gods, a lot of their myths, they're the unknown. They was in the time of the unknown, learning new herbs, learning new things, believing in bulls, the bull right, learning and mimicking and creating stories on bulls, serpents, snakes, also on different drugs like mushrooms and many much more that they was the record keepers. So a lot of their tradition is nature, and with nature, it was the free expression of sexuality. Before there was law, we was on the crest of savagery and civilization. We are in the second century BC, and we're going to bring it into today's understanding. What's going on today? So let's hit the slide. So we have Helios for the sun. We have Diana for the moon. We have Poseidon from the ocean. This is for the sea. Like rivers, lake, sea, they had a different god to separate the water. So the ancient believed that the heaven was the father, and the rain is his semen, fertilizing the ocean, no, fertilizing the land from winter, bringing new life. That the heavenly Father resurrect the earth. So men brought this concept into being. So here we go. This we getting from the Bible, and you're gonna see what part of the Bible we getting it from. So Shinakama, can you read this verse for us?
And there followed him a certain young man having a linen cloth cast about his naked body, and the young men laid a hold on him, and he left the linen cloth and fled from them naked.
This is the Greek version of it. This is the Greek. This what we getting our understanding, going to the original of the original, the Greek, and breaking the word down side by side. So let me see. Let's see something. Wait. I'm not trying to go too far away. Oh, let's go. I was trying to see that bar at the bottom would go down, but it don't want to go down. But we gonna read the English standard of it and the King James. No, I'm gonna read the King James. And there followed him a certain young man having a loincloth cast about his naked body. Highlighted right there in red, certain young man also. Can you see this, Shinakama?
Yeah, I can read that.
Okay. Can you read the
Which
English
one?
part?
Which part do you need me to read?
The anything English that you could see.
Um, well, it says anything made from such a cloth, garments of linen. It also says it could be a napkin, a ship's sail, a flag, a standard, a cloth, a sheet,
Wait, stop,
a
stop.
winding sheet.
Hold up. Wait a minute. From the beginning, do it have it like going back to A? Surgery, correct?
Right.
Surgery bandages. These are surgery. These are surgery terminology, medical terminology, dealing with mummy and surgery. That's the dead. That's living surgery bandages. And can you go back to where you was? I'm sorry about interrupting.
And it was saying sheets and hold on, sorry, I had to resume. It says within the veil, esoteric meaning.
Yeah. So even in this, we got two main keys that I took out of this, dealing with esoteric, dealing with the mystic initiation, and dealing with medical. So let's go to next. So let's read this because I said it before. I wanted to bring the verse up. It say, and they brought young children to him that he should touch them, and his disciple rebuked those that brought them. The reason was that because you have young disciple, seeing that they bringing the parents, like we dealing with ancient time of human trafficking. Parents is bringing their children to this co-leader and his disciple, like, no. Find out the reason why. So what you think is so far on where we at?
I think it's a little bit of shrouded in a veil right now because of the simple fact that it could mean three different things, right? And what we just read with the context,
Yeah.
but we would have to go into a further expression in order to have an understanding of the complete context because like you just said it could be a medical situation, it could be or it could be a sex trafficking situation, or it could be any number of situations which could arise from these type of circumstances where now we have to go further into the text to actually find out.
Yeah. Can you read this for us?
Yes, it says that. I'm not sure what's behind the live button though.
Oh, it's a Justin the martyr.
All right, Justin the Martyr in the second century explicitly noted and identified them as demonic imitations of the true faith. The devils, in the imitation of what was said by Moses, asserted that prosperity, prospine, pros,
Okay, I'm about to
Paul.
go to the I'm about to go to the next clip. Okay, here you go.
Was the daughter of Jupiter and instigated the people to set up an image of her under the name. I can't see that behind the live
No, don't
button.
worry about what's behind that because
An image under her name of Cora First Apology. Through the first to the fourth century, Christianity stood in direct competition for adherence with the mystery schools, insofar as the mystery schools were pseudo Orpheus appears in multiple recessions, which is versions created over time. The poem presents the legendary Greek figure Orpheus as giving a poetic speech to his son Musaeus, identified as the biblical Moses, passing on to him the hidden wisdom he learned in Egypt.
so let me do one more thing to go ahead and let people get a feel of what's going on here. Let me put us on the screen. So looking at what we just present, like from Moses. We just dropped Moses in there. Moses in the background, like, don't throw me in this. I don't have nothing to do with this. But we showing connection of Greek folklore, Greek legends, Greek myths, connecting to biblical characters, as to the point that the writer is familiar with these characters in their culture, that and not just their culture, their audience. It's like writing a play that you want everybody who look at this play have some kind of familiarity with it and can relate to it. This deal with storytelling. If it's about an enemy god or culture that they are hostile to, it wouldn't be good to come to these people and tell about somebody else's culture like that. It'd be good to tell them about stories that they heard from you, retelling of it as a play, as they can act it out. So we dealing with um Greek history where they telling you a connection between Greek culture and the Bible itself. That's what I'm taking. So what do you feel as far as we got?
I would say I agree with you on that, and I think that what you was looking to say is the stories of epic hero and the Greeks who had portrayed these heroes and in a light that it might not be understood too clearly based on the paganism mixed into Christianity. But if you go back to the original Greek's text, which outside of the Bible, like the Odyssey, the Iliad, the Leonidas and the 300 Spartans, you start understanding when you line it up with the Bible that it even has the numerical values, like how you're gonna say Genesis 1:1 when you're gonna read the Bible. It has what we would call like the Dewey Decimal System, where it breaks it down in a codex, so you're able to find the parts of the book where you need to find them at any given moment, especially if people is believing that you're casting spells or if you're doing it in the form of a reference, just like they
Yes,
would do with the epic poems when they would speak them to their children.
yes. And it's good like to actually research and actually seek the knowledge. Sometimes you're going to find bump in the road because you got to understand that a lot of scholars today will be using their faith, and they're going to be using uh, dealing with their Christianity over different words. So when they come up with different Greek words, when they come and research these Greek words, they will try to relate it to the Bible and give you that picture, then actually giving you the source, the culture of these words, because Christianity, the religion itself, it was a destroyer of other culture, where it was said that Christian was the ones who burnt down the church, the not church, my bad. The Christian was the one who burnt down the library of Alexandria, because they said Julius Caesar, he burnt parts of the library, but Christians was the one who burnt the full library down. They burnt monuments down because it's dealing with pagan and trying to wipe all the other pagan belief and bring monotheism, the one belief. So you have anything to say before we move on?
Yeah, I was going to say because even if you read the Bible and you have an understanding, it's not a monotheistic book. It's
Yeah.
actually a polytheistic book, but people don't want to admit the truth about it because if that wasn't the truth, then why would the supreme God be talking about other gods? Because there's a reasoning behind that. Because in order for you to be a god, it's a certain, I want to say, education level that has to go with being on that level of intelligence.
Okay. So let me move us out of here so you can see this clearly. Studio, let's get full screen. Okay. That first part is say That it is of Jewish.
It is of Jewish authorship over time. A number of Christian and Jewish authors reworked Greek traditions about Orpheus and used them to support their monotheistic.
See, here you go. It's like I'm saying this that I researched this. You can find this in Wikipedia, and if it's in Wikipedia, that means you can find other sources of ancient people talking about this and people in the past talking about this. It's not like I'm talking out of my butthole. So let's go to the next part. Support.
Support their monotheistic views and to assert the religious supremacy of Moses and monotheism over Greek polytheistic views. The rhetorical device of using legendary non monotheistic figures to endorse Judaism is likewise found in the Sibylline oracles.
So it was okay. Let's show an example. So I'm gonna read the top part where you might can't see. It say Odysseus and his crew sailed to the land of the Cyclops and of Sisti. Odyssey 9 and 10. So can you read Mark 1 to 20? The first part.
Jesus and his disciples sailed to the region on the Gerasenes
So
on
okay.
the mountain.
So on the yes, go ahead and read it.
On the mountain, a large herd of swine grazed. Jesus and his disciples disembarked. They entered. They encountered a savage, lawless demoniac who lived among the caves. The demoniac was muted. The demoniac recognized Jesus and asked him not to harm him. He said, I adjourn you by God, do not torment me. Jesus asked the demoniac his name, and the demoniac answered, Legion is my name. Jesus subdued about 2,000 demons with divine power and sent them into the swine and then drove the swine into the lake. The swine herders called on their neighbors.
So we're gonna stop here. So before I say something, you have anything to say because you read it. The comprehension, you read it. I didn't read it out loud. You read it. So what you have to say?
I would have to say that the boy seems like he's one of the ones who they were talking about in the doctrine of the Bible in the New Testament, but it's you can tell that that boy or the demoniac as they were calling him, that young youth, that he already had been um subject to some type of harsh treatment by somebody who was wearing the same garments as Christ was when he appeared.
Like like what you just read right there. I'm about to ask a valid question. Can it be that a lot of the books that we get to you could be reworking different 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 things one person done, like, hey, this is a okay, let's say the god Apollo, the sun god, they attribute different things that he done on earth, and then turn around later on, they say, we don't worship God Apollo, we worship Jesus, but we gonna turn Apollo, his deeds and everything, we gonna attribute, that word, we gonna attribute the deeds that Apollo done on earth to John the Baptist. Just as Jesus' deeds was appointed upon him from earlier sources. As this Odyssey and
I
this
would
is
say
going.
that it seems we have, it would seem that we have an anachronism going on here. And not a modern day anachronism, but a time when the church was writing these documents, they were anachronizing certain of their cultures of the time and mixing it with the Greek culture that it originally comes from.
Okay. So we're gonna go to the next. Let me go ahead and click there. It say in the most of
The civilized world, at least as far back as 5,000 years ago, there were women shamans and priestesses who represented the godhead in sacred sex rites. And in ancient Greece, they were known as Herodials. A Herodial would have skills similar to a shaman in that she could journey in a trance.
so in ancient time, this was going on here. Women. Women was the first priest. They was the first priest. And there was sexual rites here. Sexual rights. That's you have sex traffickers that kidnap virgin girls and sell them to the temples, and then they would become priestess of particular god, and they would become shaman and dealing with sexual rit. So now let's go to the next. This
Into
is
other
the
dimensions. Oh, I was just going to finish reading it.
yeah.
Into other dimensions and merge her spirit lover with her spirit lover there. Part of the Herodial's role was to spend the night with a newly crowned king or queen, and while embodying her spirit lover, she would transfer the sovereignty of the land to the royal personages in sexual initiation.
So let's me pop my face on here and yours so these people can see can have a feel of what's going on. So wait, oh, this is going too small. Okay, I want to still up. We got sexual rights here. So this is consummation. This is like the king, like breaking a woman virginity. she's she's that man woman now in modern time. But in ancient time, that was a way for the king to come up of becoming a man. Your rights, your rite of passage, different rites of passage of growing up into the mystery. But this dealing with initiation into the mystery. And then they showing you that what? There could
That
be
that was how it was. That's how the land rights was established.
yeah.
The fiefdoms, if we want to use actual church terminology, the feudalism system. Feudalism.
Yes, because like the Roman emperor was the high priest to Jupiter. And then he would have a priestess of the temple who would be Juno. And a lot of time the emperor wife would want to become Juno because in society, high society, she would have more say to the women to get the women followers and stuff to have more sway. And that helped the emperor to keep the generals in line, to keep the social order without no disruption into his plan. So these temples, these rites of passage go a long way among the commoners and also royalty. That these things right now, when we see the coronation of Great Britain, King Charles and stuff, there's things that we see in the public, but there are also things that we don't see. Just like in the Christian church, there's things that they allow the public to see in mass in the church service, but there's things that is hidden, and that's what we are here for. So let's go with the next flow.
And if you ask me, it really changes your perspective
Yeah,
on the reality of which a lot of these women right now in society is being stigmatized for a practice that has been practiced since the ancient times. But it's just that our society itself has lost its structure and its way. So we are still in we're in one of those phases where it's if you don't know what you're talking about, you're gonna fall for anything. If you don't know about it, you know what I'm talking about. It's gonna be easy for somebody to spin a narrative on you
yeah,
if you don't have the appropriate data field, and the appropriate information at the time in order to make a well-informed decision instead of just making an assumption or trying to have an understanding without having actual understanding.
yeah. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
You want me
Hey,
to read that?
yeah.
So the letter A, the Hierophant, one who teaches the rites of sacrifice and worship, of the initiating priest at Eleusis.
Stop. See, now
Yes, sir.
we got the first connection to this Hierophant. We seen the female version. This the male version. One who teaches the rites. You feel the rites of the sacrifice and worship. And it dealing with initiations of the priest. And also going here to the other one. Where can you find this?
The initiating priest at Eleusis,
Also, where else?
which is it would be at Rome or the Pontifex.
So
The Pontifex Maximus.
ain't that what I said dealing with Jupiter, Rome, the emperor?
Right. Correct.
That is the title of the emperor of Rome. So he would be this right here. He would be a male priest, one who teaches the writ, and he would be the great one. So go to the next.
Of the Jewish high priest of Moses, later expounded upon. You want me to read the red part too?
Yeah, that bottom piece, yeah.
Hierodule would have skills similar to the shaman in that she could journey in a trance to other dimensions and merge with her spirit. The Hierophant, one who teaches the sacrifice and worship.
Yeah. Moses.
So that's who she was. So that's who she was going to the fifth dimension to see is God, basically in a, but it's in a more, it's not as a esoteric form as most people would have an understanding, which is it would be the she moved as what, the Holy Spirit, correct? Wouldn't that be the Christian uh equivalent to what she's doing, moving as the Holy Spirit?
Yeah, sex and drugs. Yeah, into a plane of speaking in tongues and yeah,
Higher levels of vibrational frequency, if we're speaking from a scientific perspective.
yeah. So let's go to the next one. Yeah. You know what this is?
Yep, this is
This
a timeline of the evolution of the doctrines.
I
Well,
won't even say this is a timeline. I would say this is the evolution and the vision of great thought. Because some of these sets lived around the same time. Like we the alpha group, we the beta group, we believe this part of the mix, we believe this part of the mix. And this is going from the extreme. It's just like Catlin back. It's like orthodox. The orthodox is the one we going straightly by the book. We gonna go straightly by the code, and then you have the more lenient one, like, hey, we have a more wider range of thoughts. You see what I'm saying?
and that's where the execution and the way that the United States of America as a government is set up in a similar fashion.
Yeah.
That think about it like this, like the the Congress makes the laws, right?
Yeah.
They they go in there and they're representative of all the people, the constituencies, the municipalities. If we're gonna go into the Greek type of terminology for a municipality, which means a certain area of the kingdom occupied by a certain amount of inhabitants, which they would have representation in order to make the laws of the land. The Supreme Court is to make sure that judicially the laws follow the creeds that we all agreed to, even as children, which we call the Constitution of the United States of America. And then the one to make sure that we are militarily and existentially protected is the commander in chief or the president, or who would be considered the leader of the writs or the rights, which would be the Hierophant himself.
Yeah. You will mainly say this. The higher up you get, because when you see masonry and stuff like that, Freemason, they give you characters like Hiram Bell, King Solomon. They give you all these names, all these code words, but they bringing you to a time where pagan story, but it's symbolized today in a multitude way. Like all these attributes that was contribute to different gods might be contribute to one god today. In the action
We would
of
contribute that in America as a president, like like so, like it would be a legal president. So if you're having an issue in court and say somebody is defending themselves from a certain law, but there's already an initial judgment on a whole nother case, that's a president. So, and which would be similar in this facet of how they're applying the knowledge of the ancient time. It's a president. We have to go back to the most earliest form of that law in order to get the correct interpretation of the law in order to be able to use mercy or punishment,
So
judgment.
we're gonna go with the first school. I hope I set it up right that you can read it or I could blow it up. You need me to blow it up?
No, that's fine. I got it.
Okay, thank you.
That is that's parades or parate, meaning to pass through or to penetrate, were a Gnostic sect from the second century AD. The philosoph- Philosophumina of Hippolytus is our only real source of information on the origin and beliefs. The founders of the school were certain Euphrates, whom Origen called the founder of those Ophites, to whom Cellus was referred about
Okay, we'll
175
stop there.
AD.
We'll stop there. This is this is to the stream. This is the stream or pagan set, but because this is dealing with Greek, this is a Gnostic, the Gnostic group. That means they really into the code and really understand the nature meaning of drugs, medicine, and sexual desire. Then we got the middle one. Can you read that?
The Nassines are said to have had one or more books which profess to contain discourses communicated by James, the brother of Jesus, to Mariamene. These treatises were of a mythical, philosophic, devotional, and exegetical character rather than a cosmological exposition. A very interesting feature of the book seems to have been the specimens it gave of the Ophite hymnology.
See, these are these are hymns. Like the Book of Solomon, it's a hymn. It's to get to sing. We dealing with ancient time where people get around bonfire, they get full of them drugs, and they start singing of how they feeling, singing to the God, hymning to the God. So a lot of ancient texts was revived into a new school of the thought of the old. So then singing hymns to the opiate gods, they singing now to the Father and Son of a one God system. But the information is still reverberating the same ancient teaching.
And it's giving off the same wave frequencies, which is why some songs, when you sing those certain hymns, or even in the modern day rap songs, R&B, it doesn't matter. That's why it invokes an emotion on you, because those original hymns are evoking the emotions of the original people who wrote them at the time that they wrote them.
Yeah. So we don't even have to read the third part. It it just showed that this Greek astrological character treating of influence of the star. Yeah, all this is blending into ancient terms of star systems, gods, planets. So now,
It's because people have to realize one thing that's major about all of these faiths, and that doesn't, and I'm not going to denominationalize anything. I'm going to unify it right now with the whole situation. It's a harmonic frequency that they're trying to impart in order for us as the new initiates or the children of the people who are already the initiated to learn the oral traditions ourselves in a time period where the written language and being able to read and write wasn't as prominent as it is today in the modern times.
So
they still have to have a way to teach their children.
so now you have, remember, it had all them Jewish sets from pagan to Jewish, and in between it had some people like, hey, we not banging with the pagans, we not banging with the straight orthodoxy of one God, but we gonna keep three points. You feel the three mind. This like you can read this. There you go.
The three minds, or the three gods, as they were called, each possessed certain characteristics. Um, one was Ptah, the Father, the unbegotten. Keep going down so I can see the next one.
Oh yeah, okay. Let me go to the next one. It's going into the next one. Here you go. Wait, let me slow up. Here you go.
And in this conception of the cosmos, the sun sits as an intermediary.
Wait. Go to the other
Oh,
side.
oh, it's on the left hand side. Yeah, because you got it all jumbled up like that. So the unbegotten perfect goodness, megathos patrakon, patrakion,
Yeah, you got. Yeah, I put it to
the
the point
paternal
that you
great,
got to go down and then come back up like a book.
yeah, like a mega. I got you.
Yeah.
Hulos, the sun, Agathon, Autogenes, self-begotten, goodness, perfection. And then you have Huli, the basic matter or unformed substance, the genetos, or the begotten or the created.
So we dealing with these pagans. These are Greeks here, believing in a father, a son, and something that could say, hey, a basic understanding of what the Holy Spirit is. You got the Father, unbegotten. That means nothing created it. The Father there, the greatest. And then you have the Son, self-begotten, goodness, perfect. As to the point
Or if we
that,
put it in a modern term, self-manifestation.
yeah,
He's able to manifest anything that he wants to manifest because he has the power of the Father, but he's not infinite like the Father. That's the only difference.
yes. Because at some point that the Father put this being at a particular location where the Father is everywhere and always at one time, but it took a piece of itself to observe things and put it there. Like, hey, it is. It's self begotten, goodness, perfect. And then you have the matter, the begotten, the created, un,
The matter would be
unformed
like, if you
stuff.
want to understand it, it's like a reasoning.
Yeah.
It's reasoning, like how your mind works. That's basic matter. What matters to you? Does that mean that it has to matter to me? Or are we talking about atomic structure?
Yeah, and it say the Son sit as an intermediary between the immovable source of all existence, the Father, and the formless chaos of matter. The Son as the Word, and represented by an ever turning serpent. First phase, the Father collecting the outflow of divine. We can stop right there when it comes down to really dealing with it. Here we got a pagan cult that's more close to Jews, but they are breaking down Christian information. You have the word, the logos. You have dealing with serpents. That's dealing with the serpent eating his tail. You got the father. These are Greek. These are Greek schools. To just put it like that, these
And
are
that's where
Greek
you bring
schools.
out that, and don't forget too, you break out that when Moses in the wilderness raised up the bronze serpent, which
Yeah,
is the Kundalini, which is actually the Kundalini that he raised up,
yeah.
his spirit power.
So when they say that the they raised the son Christ, they raised Christ up on the cross like Moses rose the serpent up. We are dealing with Greek here. We are dealing with Greek. And these are medicine terminology. Because the snake, you can use snake venom to heal you from other snake bites. Is I'm lying? Where you get antivenom from?
Exactly, it's anti venom. Just think about it.
You get antivenom from venom.
Just like you have to get antidepressants from a depression.
So we dealing with ancient knowledge. We dealing with ancient knowledge putting in the form of modern day hypnosis because this is to indoctrinate you. Don't believe me? Sorry about it.
And don't forget that it's not even an indoctrination when you have the education.
Yeah,
It's only an indoctrination if you don't know what's going on. The same reasoning with witchcraft. Witchcraft is only it's only something that's a ritual that you do, but you have no understanding of why the ritual is done and all of the aspects of the ritual itself.
yeah. So even these same people, it say the doctrine tell how some of the divinities that rule the created universe under the three levels, the Father, the Son, and the matter, in in between these universe, between these things, you have planets ruling. Look, revolved and became evil. What became evil? Those archons were planets and constellations. So they telling you stories about the planets, the wandering stars. They telling you about oh oh wait, there's I'm about to say Osiris, but what is that? The three belt?
Orpheus,
No, the three belt.
Orpheus,
Yeah, they telling you about Medusa. They telling you about so many things, but they not telling you that these are Jupiter. What is Jupiter? The planet Jupiter, Saturn, the sun, the moon. You got Diana, the moon, Apollo, the sun. Even when you hear it in Spanish, you have Moon Day, you have Mars Day, Tuesday, Mars Day, the God of War, Mars. You have Wednesday, but it's something dealing with Mercury. You feel Spanish for Mercury, the god Mercury.
Mercury.
And then you have Thursday. Thursday is the day to Jupiter. Thurs is a word for Jupiter. Jupiter day is Thursday. And then you have Friday for Venus. And then you have Saturday for Saturn. And then you have, Sunday for Apollo. It starts back. Monday, the moon.
And I was going to say something about what you said earlier about it becoming evil, right? The archons, correct?
Yeah.
So Now we have to have an understanding because let's use the parallels, right? So the Pope is supposed to be Jupiter in the earth, right? God in the earth.
Yeah.
So having that understanding, if we go to the biblical prospect of it, if you are an archon, say for example Hades, right? Hades in English, then if he's known as the god of death, it's very obvious that if they're calling him wicked or evil, that one of his representatives was doing wickedness in his name. And that's where we started vilifying certain deities in the from the polytheism in order to make it into monotheism through syncretism, just like all of the most of the Abrahamic faith that has for God Almighty symbolized are always his names, but the majority of the time they are states of being cognates, which in linguistics means
Yeah,
words
it's
that
kind of
sound the same or are the same in other languages.
yeah, it's kind of like saying God is Almighty, El Shaddai. God is most wonderful, most beautiful, most merciful. All these titles, and then later on, somebody who come translate it would say, "Hey, this is the God of beauty. Hey, this is the God of mercy. Hey, this right here is
But
the
see, it's
God
kind of
of
funny because you just said it. You said Al Shaddai, right?
yeah."
That's Western Asia. He's known as Al Shaddai. But when you go to China, Al Shaddai now becomes Shadu or Tian Shenlong, meaning the dragon of the sky.
But if you have a
And
few,
didn't you just say that earlier in the and did you just say this earlier in the presentation that the sky represents the Father?
yeah. So
So they called it the Great Sky Dragon.
let me go ahead and step out for a moment. Computer was charged in the wrong, was put inside the wrong socket. Can't have the computer down on us. But so let's say 3 generations after that, you y'all stop contacting. So you'll say people in West Asia is not contacting people in East Asia no more. But they wind up start contacting tomorrow. Tomorrow they went start walking like we gonna go venture off and see what's in the world. Then they see each other, and then you have a God here. It's the same God and the same meaning, but they don't know each other, so they believe they are separate entities. So this is what we have here. The knowledge over time was diluted, and we
It was
don't
distorted.
fully, yeah, distorted. Yes, that's the word to use, distorted. So they say the
It was
Archon was,
distorted and it was degraded because
yes, fact,
the lack of understanding. Because I'm not going to say it's a lack of knowledge because obviously we wouldn't be able to find things like the Sumerian tablet or the Egyptian hieroglyph or the cave paintings and things like that
yeah.
in science. We know that these are just the same
You want to,
renditions of
yeah.
the same stories that was passed down to us from the thousands and thousands of years. Who knows how ancient these stories really are? We only know what we're told because of the simple fact that the origin was oral traditions, which even in the Ten Commandments, the second commandment explains that clearly to you that all the writing and all the pictures is just in vain because
So
there's no way to ever account for the length of time that has gone by.
so let me break this down. when we regular people, normal people, just somebody just normal who don't have no connection to me, don't have no connection to Shin Akama, just somebody in regular life go and pull up Jewish Kabbalicism. They will show you things that deal with Zeus and Jupiter, Kronos and Saturn dealing with your body. Dealing with your body. That's when you
That
start
would be
dealing
alchemy.
with this when you start dealing with chakra. See, now
Yeah, that's
y'all
what I'm
get it
saying.
when I'm
Internal
saying
alchemy, brother.
chakra. See, this is healing. This is medicine. The Bible, the Gospels, when you hear the word Gospels, when you hear these terminology, Christ, the anointment, you feel ointment to rub on, to smear on you. These are medical terms. These are healing terms. These are ancient people putting it in a way that is confusing today because you had a war. You had a war that people say, hey, we straight pagans. And you have people who say, we going to take all this knowledge and make it into one to control the masses. But the ones
Religion.
who wanted to control the masses had to take the book, the original book, manipulate it so the people who know these stories but don't know it fully, that means the children of the next generation. That's like when you go to school. You might have learned a few nursery rhymes from your mom and daddy, but when you go to school, you learn some whole new information. So, bam, this is what's going on. They taking these people and saying, this is this new religion. They just took all the information out the old book. They dumbed it down and gave it to them. And then over time, some people come and say, we're going to translate this. We're going to translate it not from the original text, but we're going to translate it from the dumbest form around. And that's how it is. That's how we not really getting what we getting, because you could see that ancient Greek stuff, God, culture, is dealing with
They just do
wow.
like how it says. They're playing off of people's insecurities and their implied programming through how they was raised in order to perpetrate pseudo psychology, what we call an ego, onto the front of who you truly are to yourself. So you have to just understand that the way that we operate in this world, it's a manipulated version of the world itself, unless we ourselves break free from the program and only go based off of like how the Bible says, using our own discernment. Because like a lot of the Kemetic brothers and sisters say, you shouldn't need a book to tell you what's right from wrong, which
Yeah.
is which is an absolute truth in life. And nobody should have to tell you that. That's one of those things. We read the books and we do the studying because we want to enhance our education. We want to enhance our understanding of situational circumstance and how to remedy any problems or issues that may have arisen in people's lifetimes or some bad choices they made, you know, or like, for example, that's why they have rehabilitation centers now. In the ancient time, the monasteries was the rehabilitation centers, like
Okay,
Saint Anthony.
let's move on to the next clip. Not trying to have people in here for 2 hours. I just realized the time frame. So it's a this is another set. You feel this a Greek
You want me to read it?
Greco-Roman, yes, telling about this. So
It is Irenaeus states that the Cainites regarded Cain as derived from the highest God, not the creator God worshipped by the Jews and other Christians.
so
According to Arius, go ahead, bring that up. Oh, all right, where was that at? All right, there we go. According to Arius, they claimed fellowship with Esau, Korah, and the men of Sodom, and all such people, and regarded themselves as persecuted by the Creator. But they escaped injury from him because they were protected by the goddess.
Sybil, no, Sophie, the goddess of wisdom. So read the next
Sophia,
time.
yeah.
Start where it's
They are
one.
not to be confused with the original Sibylline books
Sibylline
of
book.
the ancient, of the ancient Etruscans and Romans, which were burned by the order of Roman General Flavius Stilicho in 4th century AD. Instead, the text is an odd pastiche of Hellenistic and Roman mythology interspersed with Jewish Gnostic and early Christian legend.
So bam, that's it right here. This is the evidence where the tampering and the effery begins.
That was the
The
beginning of the syncretism.
so you could say you got 12 houses, you got 12 churches under one roof, from Babylon all the way to Rome. 12 siblings, and they got one book, but it got burnt by a Roman general. He got burnt in the 4th century AD. But you get a new one. You get a new book where it passed with Greek Greek information, Roman information,
We would call
Jewish.
that like a remix or a reboot, right?
Yeah. So now you got Jewish and you got Gnostic right next to each other, where you could say not Jewish, but you would say Jewish Gnostic, because that's the hidden knowledge mixed into it with early Christian legends. Remember when I said Helios would become John the Baptist later? So these are the legends, these are the stories, the ancient stories that Christians like. This came from the ancient time. We love this legend. This story tell us about ourselves. Put this in the book. You better put this in the book. And then
And
this
that's
is
why I tell people all the time it's that the Greeks didn't have religion. What they had was hero worship, which is a form of revering your ancestors, those who came before you and paved the way for you to be able to have a life of convenience in an inconvenient reality.
so you can read this. Can you
The
see it?
Sibylline oracles are a valuable source of information about classic mythology and early first millennium Gnostic, Hellenistic, Jewish, and Christian beliefs. Oh no,
So
my bad.
so
Some
so
apocalyptic passages scattered throughout seem to foreshadow the themes of the book of Revelation and other apocalyptic literature.
so when people say foreshadow, they try to like, hey, this book prophesied things that was going on before the book of Revelation. But you can actually say Revelation took from this book. The book of Revelation took a lot of his themes from this book, and this book outshadow it because you see it's classical mythology. It's dealing with Gnostic. Gnostic is knowledge, the hidden knowledge. the Jewish and the Christian mixed with the Greek, and you could see the Sibylline, the Sybil of Persia, sometime called Hebrew. So let's go into more clips. You let me show you the picture. So this the second sibling. I'm gonna just roll through the sibling, so we don't have to say each one by each one. So I'm gonna throw it a big screen for everybody, so we could see all the siblings. So it won't be unfair. People like, oh yeah, you see her. Okay. Oh, okay, there you go. I want it like this, and then. There you go. The 12 sibling. So now let me close this off a little bit so we can see it better. But you see, it was 12 siblings, so you would say it was 12 churches, that 12 organizations. That means these 12 cultures, these nations at the time. You say there was 12 nations, and you would say there were 12 embassies in each nation where they would all meet and discuss about borders disputes, trades, what's going on in the weather in each other
And
area.
based off the doctrine of Joseph, when he was the Pharaoh in Egypt, it makes total sense because of the doctrine that he created about if you're going to rule over people, you have to be from the land of those people. And that's why they would call the Hierophant the All Father because he's the father of all of the rulers of those lands, those 12 different houses.
So can you we dealing with, let me put it up more clear. So we dealing with Mark here. Can you read this for us?
And the disciples were astonished at his words. But Jesus answered again and saith unto them, Children, how hard is it for them that trust in riches to enter into the kingdom of God?
See, this the Greek right here. He at the bottom. He talking to the disciples. The disciple are children here. And the disciple was astonished at his word, but Jesus answered again and said unto them, not nobody else, them, right there, the disciple, children. We dealing with 12 children here. We going into Jesus here, dealing with now the mystery. This is the mystery here. We went through the setting of the culture of the time frame and how these culture is connected, intertwined. So now we going into the mystery, and this had to be taken from the Bible. So children, how hard is it for them that trusted in riches to enter into the kingdom? You got to abandon everything and become a slave. That's
Isn't
hard.
that what Islam says? Isn't that what Islam says in the Quran? That we're all slaves to Allah because He's the one who created us, and our whole life is just to worship the Creator God, correct? And the only reason why we're not struck down for our sins is because the mother goddess won't allow us to be struck down for our sins. That's why the church doesn't want to acknowledge the mother goddess because they want to be the absolute rulership of humanity itself. Like you said earlier, the controlling of the masses of people instead of people controlling themselves individually.
So this Matthew 18:6. Can you read it?
But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone would hang about his neck and that he would drown in the depths of the sea.
Mess. See, but whoso shall offend one of these little ones. These are his disciples here. These are his followers. Don't you dare defend one of his little ones. His little ones here. People think these are good terminology, like Jesus loved the little children and Jesus protecting the little children. No, you got this wrong. So this is Mark 10, verse 28.
Then Peter began to say unto him, Lo, we have left all and have followed thee.
Follow. They left. They left everything and follow him. So this is the Greek terminology down here. Y'all can rewind the video. Y'all can pause it. Y'all can see the Greek words. That's why I'm holding it off
It's
a little bit.
actually, his statement is actually an oxymoron, but when you understand exactly what he's talking about, because he's saying that they departed from him to go do what he taught them to do.
So can you read this? This the Greek word for it. Wait, let's start at the top. What they
To
mean by
follow,
follow? This is the Greek word.
to follow one, to go after or with him, of soldiers and slaves,
Stop,
mostly.
stop. Off top, dealing with people who dealing with command. I'm gonna ask you a question. Is you a soldier? If you were on E1 soldier, the lowest soldier, in the office a cap, no, let's say a general come through and tell you to make your bed, would you make your bed?
Off the rip, you already
The
know. Quick,
highest the
fast, and in a
command.
hurry.
So he's the master and controls or the commander in chief at that moment. So you're a soldier. So if you're a slave, this is telling you right here that the disciple, they are following him not as someone who choose to, but someone who obligated and have to, like a soldier or a slave. That's what
Well,
this
yeah,
is.
we call, and we know what that's under, right? That's conscription.
Yeah.
That's under the law, under the laws of conscription, meaning that it's your civil duty to see. We have to change up one of the words because one of the words is very deceptive, and that's the slaves, right? If we're gonna go by modern day terms, we would call those people the quote unquote employed, the people who have employment, jobs, workers, um, people who would be at the cash register helping you cash out your items,
No, no,
or
no, no. We can't do that. Because now we take the necessity because we looking at modern terms here where someone could leave off their job. This right here, this is a slave that you go. Where can you go without getting killed by your master? Where you got to have complete loyalty. You there's rules that you don't have to have complete loyalties for your boss today. This is not dealing with employee status. This is dealing with slavery.
Slavery is an employment status, though.
But no, this dealing with cartel slavery.
That you gotta understand everything that we do in society is just a mirror of something that we've always done.
But
Slavery has levels to it, just like we know from modern day slavery with so-called African American people. They have the house Negroes and the field Negroes. So there's always some type of hierarchy or division, regardless of what the position is. Because if we go to the soldiers, we know, like you just said, you could be an E1. It doesn't even have to be a general. It could be simply somebody who's an E2 that came in there and told you to make up your bed. And you have to make your bed like the general told you to do it, even though he's only E2 because he's higher ranked than you. He's a higher rating. So that means he obviously has some type of enacted experience or wisdom level that he knows more than you and he's able to direct you or guide you into appropriate
but
execution of
but
your
all
task.
but all the real is like for people like just plainly put it's the obedient way where you don't have no say. When the
That's
disciples
exactly
said
obedience.
we had to drop everything, these was some slaves, some children that for the main part, they were slaves to the point that, hey, we got to follow Jesus no matter what. We can't leave. We got to just drop everything and go. We got to obey. We got to follow.
And what is that called in the modern day? Readiness, right? Isn't that what they call that in the modern day military? You have to be at a constant state of readiness, meaning the ability to execute whatever it is you're commanded to
Yeah.
execute in that exact moment in time, right?
So yeah, facts. So we gonna deal with Matthew 26:69. We about to finish this. You feel it's not that far long. Thank y'all for bearing with us for an hour and so blessings. So can you read this for us?
Now Peter sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, thou also wast with Jesus of Galilee.
So now let me explain to y'all this scenery. Close y'all eyes, or if y'all got good imagination, y'all can tell. So the palace, every palace have a courtyard, and the courtyard is where the the household and the public meet, or you could say this is the courtyard in front of the house. You got prostitutes there. That's where the damsel come in. That's a prostitute, not just any prostitute. This is a young female prostitute, because Peter is a young prostitute himself, a young kid, a follower of Jesus, a young slave of Jesus. They say now Peter sat without in the palace and a damsel. You feel prostitutes hang out with prostitutes, slaves hang out with slaves, rich people hang out with rich people. And they said upon him, came upon him and said, "Thou art with Jesus. Are you with Jesus? Hey, you one of them people with Jesus. You one of them people with Jesus." He denied it, but yeah, he was with Jesus. See, when they say Jesus hang out with prostitutes, yeah, he didn't judge prostitutes because he had them himself. So this is a story for us. That this is a account. Can you read this for us?
Epiphanius of Salamis records that the greater question of Mary contained an episode in which Jesus took Mary.
Okay. So see, so now, oh yeah, this from earlier. Young girl, maiden, young female slave, born maid servant. Look, number two, prostitute.
Prostitute.
This is why I said he was chilling with prostitutes. Some people gonna say, no, she's a damsel, she's a maid, she just a maid, she just a maid servant, she just a female slave. No, she just a young female slave. No, she's a what type of servant? She's a prostitute. This Greek word in the Greek, she's a prostitute. So we got here for the next part, we got a story of Jesus Christ having sexual intercourse with, he created a woman out his side, came out of his body, and then he started having sex with her. And then from the sexual intercourse with her, then he ejaculated. And Jesus drunk his own semen and told Mary, thou we must do that we must live. This is the mystery. This drug is sexual. You feel? This is the Antichrist. This is the semen. You feel? From the first video. This is the first video. That we may live. So this medicine term, you feel? So Jesus is on some drug because he took Mary onto a mountain. When you hear a mountain, somebody is high in the sky. Somebody is high as a kite. So it's a thou we must do that we may live. So that means that ejaculated semen is the antidote for something that he must live. So to have everlasting life, somebody gotta drink that semen of Jesus. That's the body. That's the body of Jesus. She instantly faded. You feel? I would fade too. I might have would have ran. I might have would have fought Jesus. Like, nah, Jesus, I don't play that. We don't have to look into this more. So we'll go to the next one. So look, here we go. The picture. This Bacchus worship in Greek. You can say that's Jesus riding on a donkey. And you could say this right here is like a mason riding the goat. Little kid riding the goat. And look at him. He as naked as can be. Oh, you Greeks. Oh, you Greeks. Y'all have so much faith. So here you go. Come on. We need you, Jamal. Go ahead and read this for us. Jesus telling us something. Jesus is telling his slaves something.
When Jesus had thus said, he was troubled in his spirit and testified and said, verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me.
So Jesus is full of them drugs. He full of them drugs. His troubled spirit, his troubled mind. He paranoid. He like, man, I'm about to do this. I gotta do this ritual. I gotta do this rite. I gotta do something. What I'm about to do, gonna have one of y'all snitch on me, man. Man, look, y'all about to go into this initiation. Y'all about to see some, but I believe one of y'all gonna tell on us. You gonna tell on us. So here go the next part.
Now there was.
Wait. Okay, yeah, this. Wait. Okay, this is it right here. Okay, sorry about that.
Now there was leaning on Jesus' bosom one of his disciples whom Jesus loved.
So to put it back in your picture, look at it in your mind. Close your eyes. We sounding like hippies now. Close your eyes and realize you have this disciple. Look at the picture. When you look at this video, you see the pictures of the men leaning on each other. You got this disciple leaning on Jesus' bosom. He leaning. That means his arms, his shoulders, and everything was leaning on Jesus' chest. And this is whom Jesus loved. This is one of the greatest, one of his greatest, because he should have loved all his disciples, but they say this is whom Jesus loved. He loved them. He is leaning on Jesus. You got something to say? I'm putting pictures in people's mind to realize the scene.
No, I think it is pretty self-explanatory at that point.
Okay, here you go. 27. Wait. Oh, wait. It's going too fast on us. It skip a few. We can't miss these valuable details. No. So we right here. Wait, let's go back. Okay, we got his lover. So now, after he said to betray, he went to someone and he went to Judah. He went to Judah. We all know who betrayed Jesus. Jesus gave him a SOP, a sock. We can say bread. We can say something, but we know that it had to been some drugs because what happened, Shinakama? Can you read this?
After the sop, Satan entered into him, and then Jesus said unto him, that thou doest, do quickly.
So, without what Jesus said, what could have happened when the devil entered into him? Because you is a good comparison of because I love our information and our exchange of knowledge. Your exchange of knowledge of modern term. A modern term of if somebody don't believe in spirits or nothing like that, and you trying to explain somebody flipping out of the blue, what would you believe that person is doing or on?
On some hallucinogenics. They're
Thank you.
hallucinating.
Thank you. Yeah, hallucinating. He went into a trance. He went possessed. He got the devil in him. After Jesus gave him something that you could consider a drug. So we got an instant of Jesus laying on someone leaning on Jesus' chest, and we got an instant of someone getting drugged by Jesus. Medicine, the book full of medicine, and also sexual perversions. This right here is a Greek book right here, and we're gonna see the English form of it. I can't put it's Philemon.
Yep.
Philemon. Sound like Digimon, but let's not go into that. That's just me. Oh yeah, let me pause there so we'll read it. Okay, here you go. You ready?
Yep.
This what it say
For
in
we
the
have great joy and consolation in thy love, because thy bowels of the saints are refreshed by thee, brother.
it actually when you look in the Greek, it's literally say brother, but it actually say bro. This is Paul writing one of his disciples. He say, for we had great joy in consummating in that love that we had. Because the balls of the saints are refreshing. What about the old men? The men of old. Their balls. Oh, they refreshing, their booty holes refreshing. Wherefore thou I might be much bold in Christ to enjoin. You enjoin them in holy matrimony? No, you in something sexual, something very scary. But this Greek for you. So you'll read next because here we go with Paul's name in it. So here you go, right here.
Wherefore, though I might be much bold in Christ to enjoin thee that which is convenient, yet for love's sake rather beseech thee, being such as in one as Paul the aged, and now also a prisoner of
Jesus Christ.
all
He's a
right, Jesus
slave.
Christ.
He's a slave of Jesus Christ now. He he ravage. Beseech mean ravage. You ravage. Yet for love's sake, I'd rather ravage you. Being as such as Paul used to do. Woo. Right in our face, not even knowing. So we going here. And inside that verse, this is what the ravage that they going to be doing. Going inside the person. Can you read this?
Inward parts, especially the heart, the lungs, the liver, the kidneys, which in sacrifices were reserved to be eaten by the sacrificers at the beginning of their feast. Hence, sacrificial feast, also as used in divination.
Divination. That's the main key. Dealing with divination. This is the book that they're using in the Greek. They're using divination in Christ's name. Okay, here you go. This where it comes. Throw that
Any
part.
parts of the inward, any parts of the inwards to come from the womb of a babe, the lungs of the spleen, and in children, in
Children.
children.
Children. Here
So
we
that would be
go.
like abortion. That would be an abortion, right?
Bingo.
Children.
The killing and the manipulation of children. You start with the children to control population. The next video, the next session we will have is now we went for introducing this. And then we went, now we are in the middle of showing how the Greek is correlated with the Bible. The next video, we will show how this correlates with the modern term of buck breaking. Ah, very scary hearing me say that, huh? It sounds very weird of me saying that. It is. I would be very
It's very
scared.
weird, you know. You got to be able to say pause after that.
Pause. No homo.
Right,
Can I
right.
say that?
I don't know, but we're gonna say it anyway. You know what I mean? If it is what it is, can get away with it, I'm sure we can too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if Killer
Yeah,
Cam and Mace can do it, then anybody can do it, right? You know,
for real, for
because
real.
obviously it goes along with what we're talking about. It's not censorship.
Yeah,
We're not making fun of anybody. We're not putting down anybody's sexuality or their preference. This is strictly an expose on how these religions have been perpetrating a fraud against the ignorance of the actual public.
facts, facts.
Which it brings us back to your favorite word, propaganda.
Yes, yes. See, that's why they call me the propaganda minister. You feel you gotta be able to put out propaganda and you gotta be able to decode propaganda. But my favorite thing is decoding propaganda for our people. You got other people doing stuff for their people and some people
Remember,
doing
that was
stuff.
the first computer,
Yeah. You got some people
the
doing
Enigma
stuff for
machine.
yeah, you got some people just doing certain things for them, their people, and you got some people doing stuff for everybody, but not everybody don't get the information. But so we, as we were talking earlier, we doing it for our people. We putting in a way for our people, the best way we know how.
Because
I'm
we
not.
want the people who's not, we want the people who are uninitiated and uneducated in the subject matter. Not to say that they're uneducated in general, but we just want to make sure that people have the appropriate facts and truth so they can make an educated decision instead of a decision based on emotions and what other people are
just
doing as
just
a trend.
just be honest and say them arrogant people. We not trying to fight and fuss with nobody who arrogant.
Right.
We just trying to send people on a road path that they could discover information along the way because they might find some crumbs that we haven't even touched yet. And we hope that they can able to expound on things and move this torch along than just see the fire and burn it out before they even get to see the light. So
Exactly.
let's go to the next because we see that we got this we got these people dealing with children here for sacrificial purposes. So
All
now,
right. Well,
oh shoot, let me share back, share screen. Okay, there you go. Let's go back to the next one. We about done, y'all. Everybody, don't kill us. Don't kill us. We about done. We about done. Okay. Okay. Let me see something. Okay. Any? Oh yeah. I. So this is the same thing, but I just highlighted it. So it's dealing with any parts of the N word to come from the womb of a baby, to come from a baby, a child, womb. You feel that don't sound like somebody going through somebody's butthole or somebody area. You feel inward. You taking it from you taking that innocent. I'm gonna say that you taking that innocent. Oh shoot! Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me stop this. It's still going. Oh no, we about to miss a key part. Let me go. Okay. Now we got the womb of the bay. Let's stop. Now it's telling us more. It got more definition on this part. Don't tell me this thing is still rolling. Yo, I thought I paused it. Now let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay, inward. Here you go. So this say children. So it's a eat.
it says the inwards of the victim after a sacrifice. So it would be a dove, a sensory, and a constraint. Prophecy from the inwards.
Ooh. Okay. Now we got this one right here.
And that would go along with, and if I can just say, that goes along with indigenous peoples in America, their own mythos, where they had the ancient doctrine of, if I killed you in combat and I ate your heart, I would take your bravery from you, and it would now become applied to me. If you know what I'm saying about that.
Yeah. So now this here we go. They coming down and telling us. So this
It
part,
was a metaphor. I was going to just read it off.
yeah,
It's a
go ahead.
metaphor for, like the heart, the seat of the feelings, affections, especially of anger, generally of anxiety or of love, Harad or Dionysus, I believe that is, or Diocletian, or meaning of pity, or for pity's sake, to learn a man's quote unquote heart,
So
or what we
so
would call in modern day a psychology. Their psychology.
yes, yes. So what they are doing is they actually, you could say, creating zombies. You feel manipulation. If you a teacher and you got these students and you take advantage of them, you messing with their mind. They psycho. Their mind. Their
That would be like modern day example, like Al Qaeda, Taliban, Hamas, various religious sects who are involved in extremist movements also use these type of principles in indoctrinating the youth in order to fight for them in their different causes.
so the word that came from the other verse that we read into this from Paul, they gloat to madness. You feel? And then what that means? Provoke, ignore, so as to stimulate some action or reaction. Stimulation. He gloat her on a more daring revelation. You feel? You got teachers. This the picture. This the best picture right here. Greek teachers. Jesus. Manipulation of the apostles. The sacrifice. The initiation. So let's go ahead and close this out and chop things up. So I see that it was like, I don't know if it's people that came in, came out, but I know we got one main sub that been here from the get go. But I want to thank everyone for coming out here and watching another put together show. I'm your host, Henry, my co-host, Shin Akama. We appreciate y'all here. He gonna tell you how he appreciate. I'm gonna tell you how I appreciate. I appreciate y'all so much for coming through, subbing to the channel and sharing and getting this out. And thank y'all for the live comments. Oh, guys, have a good night. If you leaving out, thank you. You have a good night too. Talk to some of y'all later if y'all family and friends. So we appreciate y'all coming and actually staying tuned to this series. This is going to be a 3-part series. This is just the second part of the series. The first part was the introduction. The second part was to show relevance, to show how they are the Bible and the Jews, the Christians, their Bible and their folklores and their beliefs is connected to Greek paganism, where these knowledge you cannot dispute the knowledge that say, hey, when somebody say, oh, I'm a Christian, this came from the Jews is Greek. And then the Christian got their information from Greeks. And we all know is their pagan story, and a lot of this is immoral, hidden in the form of morals. We know how to live. We don't need a
That's
book
like I
to
said
tell us.
earlier, it's oxymorons.
Yeah,
It's an oxymoron. That means that when you put something, when you put two words next to each other that don't make sense. For example, when you go to the store and you buy a jumbo shrimp, how can
yeah,
you buy something that's jumbo, but at the same time it's small? Jumbo
fact,
meaning extra large and shrimp meaning extra small. It's an oxymoron because it's a paradox. It creates a paradox.
yeah,
So if you don't understand what it is, you wouldn't know.
facts. So we're gonna bring y'all more shows dealing with different topics. Y'all know football season coming, so we gonna mix it up. But I'm more into basketball, whoop whoop for the Knicks, but see how the season go. Might be inside the arena with the Washington Wizards and have y'all in the, you feel, y'all don't have to worry about the TV or something. Y'all can just come on YouTube and I'm right there in the stadium broadcasting it for y'all to see. And hey, anything can happen. And if I can make it to the Giants game, hey, that'd be a blessing myself. But hey, somebody's saying go Giants. Go Giants, go Giants, go. If somebody catch Shin Akuma in the New England Patriot game, oh yeah, make sure y'all record it. So I'm gonna just say it's in for my part. If y'all have any questions, please leave a comment in the live feed right now, or just leave a comment in the video after this video done whenever you get a chance, and we're gonna come back. We literally check these comments and we will answer some question for the next show. We could bring your comment on to the next show and actually answer the questions you each and every one of y'all have. We bringing ancient knowledge and knowledge that is out there, but people hide it because people they use their faith. If I'm a Christian and I'm going into this book, this Bible, I want to verify that Jesus existed. But if I'm a knowledgeable person, I want to know if the whole thing real or is it fake, or what is accurate, what is relevant, what is prevalent, what correlate with my life, and is it have any truth to it? That's what I do. And then that's when you stumble into treasures. So go ahead, Shinnok. I'm gonna hit you and then we'll be closing out.
Well, you already know what I gotta say. Knowledge is power. You know, like they used to always say, knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. You know, I'm from the '80s, born in the '80s, raised up in the '90s. So you know, I gotta bring out the old school methodologies that help me to have a greater understanding of the wisdom that was being.
I'm sorry about that. We had technical difficulty. It was about to cut the show off. Shin Akuma, finish what you were saying. I'm sorry about that.
Well, I'm just gonna exit it with my normal saying: live life, love, and you know, make sure that you're executing on your goals and accomplishing everything that you want to do with your life. Don't let people judge you, and don't make people make you feel like you're lesser than you are, because everybody got problems and everybody got solutions. So maybe some people got the solutions to your problems, and maybe you got the solutions to other people's problems. So let's just all be people and associate and socialize. That's how we get to know and have greater knowledge. Peace.